Hey, I lost my debit card. Do you guys do instant replacement? What just happened?
Check your wallet.
No. No way. Your debit card should arrive in 7 to 10 business days.
It's time to bank human again. Get debit cards on the spot and no monthly fee checking with just a $100 minimum balance at TD Bank, America's most convenient bank.
Hi again, everyone, and welcome back to McAllister Fieldhouse. This is the place where the Citadel Bulldogs got back to 500 recently as they knocked off the midshipmen of Navy, and this is the Chuck Driesell Show. I'm Mike Legg with the head coach of the Bulldogs, Chuck Driesell. Obviously, let's talk about that Navy ball game and talk about the things that happened out of it. Another good defensive effort for your ball club. Some things that you like to see out of the club is you didn't have any dry spell scoring in those things, and you got a lot of great contributions out of a lot of different players.
We did. That was, coming off of the loss to the College of Charleston and having played as I thought pretty well, and giving ourselves a chance to win and a couple things going here or there, and such an emotional game. It's hard to bounce back from a loss like that, especially when you put so much into every game like our players and coaches do. I was really pleased with how we came out and executed on the offensive end as well as the defensive end, and to get the quality win against a very good Navy team here at home in front of a great crowd, which was awesome. It shows a lot about this basketball team and where we are here in December. Against Navy, we wanted to come out and be really good defensively. We're going to talk about that all year long. That is something that we emphasize every single day in practice. We're ingraining it in our players' minds how important it is. If they're not playing good defense in practice, that's when I get upset. When they're not going hard on the defensive end, that's when we get after them a little bit more than we normally would. So there's an emphasis on that, and that's what we wanted to do a really good job of against Navy, along with executing on offense and eliminating some of those dry spells. We ended up shooting 47% from the field, but we didn't shoot the ball very well in the first half, but we didn't have a long period of time where we didn't score a basket, which was critical in this basketball game.
Now, one thing to make a case in point about the defensive side of things was their leading scorer, rebounder, and assist man had none of those at halftime, which, it's hard to keep a good man down forever, and he did get some points in the second half. But that goes to show that he was a point of emphasis, and the team executed there.
Yeah, and there's going to always be games like that where there's one or two guys that are really, really the focal point of that team's offense, what they're trying to accomplish. And they had a young man, I can never pronounce his last, Venturini, number 2. I know them by their numbers, not by their last names all the time. Sometimes I know both. But number 2 was a young man for them that we knew could get 30 points, has done it in the past. And so we had to make an extra effort, the players, the team, to do a really good job on him. And we did the first half, though, but Mike, the second half, in the first 5 minutes, he has 12 points. So he got it like a good player. Yeah. He was like, they're not going to shut me down. And he really got going a little bit there. But we finally contained him. We did a better job, and we got the win.
Now, with the guys on your side, when you recruited Jake Wright, you recruited a shooter. Mission accomplished. That young man's really been shooting the ball well on special occasions this year. I mean, in games that you would refer to probably as premier games, he's had some of his better efforts, like Florida State, and then again against Navy.
Yeah, well, Jake's was someone that was very highly recruited, and we were very fortunate to get him and convince him to come here and be a part of this fine institution, to be a part of our basketball program. He's a fine young man. He's an extremely hard worker. He loves the game of basketball, and he's like a sponge. He's always trying to learn something new every day. Obviously, his shooting ability is one of those things that stood out, not just to us, but teams across the country. And he has shown that here early on in the season that he can do that and do it really well, and we need that. Until he made those shots against Navy, we were having a hard time getting to the hole. We were having a hard time getting the ball inside. P.J. Horgan didn't have any points at halftime. But then he hits those shots in the second half. That opens things up. Now we can drive. Now we can get the ball inside. PJ ends up with 12 points. So it's not just him hitting those shots is big, and it's what it does for the rest of our offense. It opens things up. It gives guys more freedom to be able to drive, kick, get the ball inside, get some easier shots, because now they have to stay out there and cover him on the perimeter.
One thing you talked about, going back to the defensive part, it's all about effort, and that's one of the reasons I know you get upset when it doesn't go well in practice, is because if the defense is not there, then the effort perhaps is not there, and that would be a reason for concern. But have you started thinking about where your team is from a defensive perspective in teams that you've coached here? I mean, does this rank right up there so far with some of your better defensive clubs?
Yeah, I don't try to look at those kind of statistics now, maybe at the end of the year, but we just take one practice, one game at a time and see where we stand at. But if you do look at our overall statistics, and I don't know if the regular fan knows this or not, but you can go on anybody's website and you look up their roster, you look up their schedule, there's a little tab for stats. And if you hit that, there's a cumulative stat sheet there that can tell a lot about a team. And one of the ones that we really focus on is field goal percentage defense. And that's what the other team is shooting per game, cumulative of all the games. We've played 8 games. And so we look at that number, and we want to keep that at 41% or below. You look at the good teams across the country. I'll take Virginia, for example. They're known for their defense. They're holding their opponents to 32% from the field. Wow. They're playing a pretty good schedule, too. That is outstanding. We're at 41. We're at right where we have set a standard for our players. That takes a lot of hard work. We've never been at that number at this point in time in the season in any of the teams that I've coached. So if you want to look at that, I would say we're further along than we have been in the past. The key is to keep it there. As the season progresses and teams, start to get going a little bit more. They start to know more about you as a team because they've watched more film. The defense becomes tougher and tougher, and you have to just continue to grind it out in practice. You have to continue to have the mindset. You got to be tough, and that's a process throughout the season.
At the time of this taping, we're just ahead of the game against Chattanooga, and so Southern Conference play begins and will have begun on Thursday night here at McAllister Fieldhouse against a tough Chattanooga ball club, a team that you had last year up until the wire, a game that went in their favor at that point. So here we are at Southern Conference time, not necessarily about the whole league in terms of what you expect, but what do you think about Chattanooga and where they rank in the league race this year?
Well, everybody gets to play, everybody in our league plays one game early on in the league. So you're right, it's not league play yet, but it is league play. It is one game, and we drew a pretty good opponent. You're right, we did. We gave them a really good game here at home. We had a chance to win it at the end. They went on after that game to win like 9 straight league games, 9 straight games overall, and they came in. I think they were tied for first or second in the league. They had a tremendous year last year. Really good ball club. They're going to be a tough conference game to kick off the year with. Thankfully, we got them at home. Hopefully, we'll get a crowd like we did the other night against Navy. That will be the cadets came out at. If anyone was here, they saw what a great environment we had. The cadets were huge. The fans were awesome. So if we can have that here at home, we're going to need that. This is a team that is going to push you. They're going to press you. They're going to jump you. They're going to want to get up and down the floor. And they're good at it. And so we're going to have to really be good at what we do and not allow them to take us out of the things that we like to do. And that's easier said than done, especially against a team like Chattanooga who's really good at it. They got size. They got really good guards. Their small forward is probably a first-team All-League preseason guy. He's tough to defend. He can really put the ball on the floor. He's got a great savvy in terms of how to score. He's their leading scorer. It's going to be a tough matchup for us, but it's going to be a heck of a game.
This week we're visiting with junior forward Quentin Marshall and one of the captains on this year's Bulldog basketball team. How rare is that, not only to be a captain as a junior, Quentin, but you were a captain as a sophomore?
Well, I was elected by my teammates to be a captain as a sophomore, and I exemplified leadership skills, and coach liked it. And ever since freshman year, I've been keeping a high head and being positive all the time. So they like that from me. So my teammates look up to me sometimes. So I like that. So as a captain of sophomore is a big thing, and I take great pride in that.
Now, tell me a little bit about your background. You are from Raleigh, North Carolina. Tell me what I absolutely have to do if I go to Raleigh, North Carolina.
You definitely have to go to a college basketball game. But I was born in Rochester, New York, so coming to Raleigh, the college atmosphere made me actually really want to go to college. Because, back in the day when you can go straight to the league, that was everybody's first dream. So, but Raleigh made me really want to go to college a lot. So.
You come from a pretty competitive family. How many basketball players?
Everybody in my family. I have a sister and 2 brothers. My older sister played in high school. My older brother, he plays Raymond Bible College right now. My little brother played high school with me, but now he plays football at Independence in Kansas, a junior college.
How often do your parents come to your ball games? I've already met them, as a matter of fact.
They try to come to every game, mostly a lot of weekend games. They work during the week, so but they try to come to all the games. They travel to New York and wherever they can.
It's not the average college environment at the Citadel to be a college basketball player. How tough is it to juggle everything you have to do?
Yeah, it's different. It just takes a lot of persistence, a lot of courage. You just got to do what you got to do. We do have the military side of things, so that's different. So it's like you said, not the exact college experience that you would think, but it's definitely a blessing to be here. I'm very glad I chose this school.
That's Quentin Marshall, 6'5", 205, and a junior from Raleigh, North Carolina. So for this portion of the show, the coach and I have decided to sit in the best seats in the house.
Well, they surely feel like it, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. This is great. This is part of an Ashley Furniture home store promotion that's called Best Seat in the House, and during every game, Bulldog fans are invited to come down and sit in this spot right here. And so we thought we would give you a preview of that. Certainly provides a great look at the court as we close out the program. We want to thank Quentin Marshall for being on the program with us here this week, and one of your fine young men, Coach, that has played a major role for you.
He really has. And anybody that knows Quentin or is going to be lucky enough to get to know him, he's a special young man. He true leader. Captain, one of our captains, and he works so hard, and he's going to be an integral part, and is an integral part of our success this year, and luckily for next year too, because we'll get him back for another year. But a wonderful man to coach, and is going to be a really good player for us this year.
Hope you'll join us again next week for the Chuck Driesell Show. Thanks so much for being with us this time. I'm Mike Legg for the coach. So long for now.